see if this works. I adjusted some settings. People were trying to get me to, I guess, stream in 1080. So we'll see. I don't know. I clicked some buttons. We'll see if it worked. You can set that anywhere. There you go. Thank you. Oh, bitrate definitely higher now. Cool. Nope, skip the new version. Thank you. Huh. Image seems much more clear. Seems clearer. BDC Retro, does it? Be interesting if this succeeds. Crisp? Well, shit. This will be one of those why didn't I do it sooner things. Let's see if we can get something on the screen to check to test the crispiness of. Hey, Quixana. I like this pool. Wouldn't mind having this pool. Alright, so I'm going to wait for all of y'all to start filtering in a little bit. If you're watching this on YouTube, good for you. Look at you. You're doing it. You're proud of yourself. Also, be sure to hit subscribe. Leave us a comment below. Keep in mind you're commenting on a video that's probably like at least a week old, probably like 2 or 3 weeks old. I'm so bad about getting the VODs uploaded. That'll be my next thing. I'm gonna set a reminder for myself on like Fridays to upload the VODs for the week or something like that. I need to get some more timers going. Hey Justin Beard, what's going on, buddy? So my bitrate meter is looking goofy here in Twitch, but in Streamlabs it's telling me that it's fine. Chat Solo, hello. So is is it looking crisper still? Oh, hey, Kilrain. BDC Retro said it looked crisper in here. Doing good. Just watching some Linus Tech Tips. What are you watching the Tech Tips on? You must be streaming because I was requesting it in Discord, right? Jezebel, absolutely. Wasn't even going to be streaming today, and then I saw you requested it. I was like, well, shit. Now I gotta do it. Zukin, all right. We've got an expert in here. Zukin, is the stream clearer? Is it crispier? And if it's not, if BDC Retro was just imagining that, then I'll have to push some buttons. Cool. Linus made some Ethernet splitting thing? Oh, interesting. There, Chatterino finally connected to the stream. Took forever for some reason. Yeah. Twitch, man. This guy looks different. My outfit looks different. I don't think I changed anything. What's this guy looking like these days? Still pretty badass. Zukin, what's going on with this seam on the shoulder here? I've been meaning to ask. There's probably a bug in for it, but I wasn't gonna go digging through them. Texture that needs fixing. Okay. I assumed you guys were aware of it. Hey, Goblin. Wasn't going to self-serve. Dargeth said I wasn't going to self-service info when I can just bug the workers about it. Typical management types. It's true. It's true. $4K tattoo stream, yep. You guys convinced me. I told you, you're not going to be able to see it any better. It's just a mess. It's a mess. Hey, buddy. I kind of just dabbed, OMG. It took me a minute to even remember how that worked. I am a streamer after all. It's my understanding that you're supposed to dab when you stream. Betty or Peeler said, always weird to catch this live because I listen to the VODs at 1.75 speed, so things are so much slower. And hello. Yeah. Whenever I'm trying to catch up on streams, I've got to do it at like 1.25 minimum, 1.5. Justin Beard said, I haven't given up on that EverQuest tattoo. No, of course you haven't. Still plenty of time for us to get you that EverQuest tattoo. How dare you speed up MMO Daddy? Well, that's a new title. I haven't been called Daddy in quite some time. I got called Daddy at my last workplace because I worked with a lot of young women. I felt it was inappropriate. Because I know for a fact that those young ladies knew the difference between a daddy and a father. Speaking of daddies, I wish Ollie was on. I have a question for him. Man, the weather's gotten better and we've just been busy. Is workplace behavior better in Europe versus US? Nope. People are people. BDC Retro. Who is that? Isan. Hey, what's up? Good afternoon, buddy. I was thinking about you earlier today when I was at the garden because I was listening to my Civil War audiobook, and I think you were saying what, the 20th main? I could have sworn it was because it was talking about Chamberlain. So, Isan, thank you for your generosity to Justin Beard. That's pretty nice. You just got both books I talked about, and he's a very good narrator. Yeah, so it's 2 different narrators. Both of them are good, but this Civil War book is now the narrator from the first Revolutionary War book, so... Jezebeli, they did talk about that in the Revolutionary War book. I think that was the Battle of Bunker Hill, I think. It was one of those very early battles. Cool, man. Isan, he's just made it to his unit. He's just basically officially become a member of the military. So that's about as far as I've gotten with Chamberlain. So no spoilers. No spoilers. Don't tell me how the war ends up. I got 3 books. I don't need any spoilers. On the seat of my pants right now. I'm actually in my pajamas right now. Jogging pants, pajamas, whatever. Potato. Thanks, Jasmine. Chamberlain taught it, is it, they pronounced it right in the audiobook, but I can't remember at the moment. Is it Bowden? Bowden College? Zukin said, that reminds me I still need to watch Band of Brothers. Have you ever watched Band of Brothers, Zukin? I was thinking about that, this week as well. Feels like Rise to Rebellion became the script to the series John Adams. So Jasmine and I just now we're almost finished with John Adams, but having listened to it, I thought the same. Like I wanted to get more of a fix on the Revolutionary War stuff. So we went back and started John Adams. Dude, the book goes into so much more detail. Like John Adams covers the first episode just covers like 8 or 10 hours worth of book in 1 hour. So Zukin said, those of you watching on YouTube, then again, if you're watching on YouTube, unless you just really randomly stumbled into this episode, this VOD, then you know how this goes. I need to stop apologizing for my behavior. The fact that I'm never very focused on the job at hand. You have not got it because you're talking about it. Dude. Oh my god, it's a good one. I'm so excited for you to watch it for the first time. If you watch it and don't like it, you need to tell me, and then we need to have just a one-on-one huddle so I can figure out what's wrong with you. Band of Brothers is amazing. The cast is a who's who of future actors. Yeah, it's crazy going back and watching it and seeing everybody that's in there. I really, when everything was popping up on my Instagram, I really wanted to, for the anniversary of D-Day, I was really wanting to just kick the series off again, but I think I made Jasmine watch that within the last year, so it's probably too early. Band of Brothers? Yeah, World War II. So much pressure? No, there's no pressure, buddy. You just gotta watch it and enjoy it. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. Hey Zoidberg. Ishiwatari, V Gates. Can you guys hear the music today? So I've increased the resolution per you guys picking on me and frustrating me and stream shaming me on Tuesday. I've increased the resolution, I believe. And I've turned up the music. So that's all I'm going to do for you for the rest of the month. You've used up all of your requests. Unless you can prove 100% attendance to every Zukin stream, every Pattis stream, every Goblin stream, every VGFX stream. That's fine. You don't have to come to these streams. But you gotta prove 100% attendance to all those streams for the next week, and then you can tell me what to do with my stream again. This is my stream. This isn't company property. If I want to stream in 420 resolution, then let me. And if you tell me there's no 420 resolution, well, there is at my house. Justin Beard. Don't you look at Justin Beard? I see those accusatory eyes looking at me right now. I can see your eyes now. I've upped the resolution. Esan said, I'm always 2+ miles into a hike already and remember, damn, we're about stream day. Yeah. That's why you gotta get me on the sat phone, man. I'm gonna up the resolution so much that it's gonna be streaming to the sat phone. By the way, hey John. Hey Pattis. John said, Band of Brothers was one of my favorite series. It took a bit to take Raw seriously as a drill sergeant. Yeah, he never really had a command presence, did he? Didn't he? Hey, Cacao. Alrighty. You know what? So this morning I was thinking I'm gonna get some other stuff done, and then I wound up getting in some really great conversation with First, because First has got the wackiest like work sleep cycle in the world, so we're able to actually chat a bunch in the mornings, which is nice. So then we wound up chatting about some design stuff, and then I had to run to the garden to water the garden, and then we ran back here, had dinner, then I bathed, and then now I'm here and I'm like, oh, what should I be working on? Let me check GitHub for some stuff. Let's see some issues. Oin32, what's going on? Oh, you know what? While we're here, let me zone to Tel Ekir and take a look around. Yeah, First has got an even more wacky schedule than yours. But thank goodness for his schedule. It's been really good for us. Let me take a look around. See what Pattis has been up to. Oh man, I'm getting attacked. Aggro off and vulnerability on. You have to turn some lights on in this piece. I didn't think the zone line worked, but let me double check, because I said recently it didn't. Okay, good. I didn't lie. Good. Oh, man. Alright. Sorry, Ashira, if you're sleeping. It's time to turn the lights on. Pattis killed it in his stream. Was great to see him work. Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, it's those of you that haven't been able to check out those streams, you really should check out Pattis and Zukin, and when Goblin's able to stream, and when VGFX is able to stream. Like, I feel like those guys, they put on really good, consistent streams, where you're gonna see stuff actually getting made. Did we change that back? Interesting. Hi, buddies. But nobody's having any issues with the stream, right? With the change in the settings, none of the buffering or whatever nonsense that I was worried about. You guys gotta understand, I'm not super hip to all the technologies. I probably could have changed these settings like a year ago. Just remember, those of you that were here when I was in Sweden, before I realized that I actually needed to plug my computer into the wall, I was like, our internet's not really good in this neighborhood. It's because I was streaming over Wi-Fi. Did that for the first bit, and then finally I just ran like a LAN cable through the apartment, because the apartment was all of like 10 feet. And plugged it in and did another like speed test. It was like, oh no, I guess I've got like fiber here. It's just like, it's ridiculous. But then I think I was worried about my system not handling it well or something. I had a lot of like weird issues with settings and stuff, but I think that was like the biggest hurdle. So I was always, from that point forward, I was like worried to mess around with my settings. It was like, all right, it works. I don't need to fix it if it works. So that's why apparently you've been watching me through a muddy camera lens was the feedback. I'm just kidding. Chinny D, what's up? Speduncle said you can do up to 4500 bitrate pretty reasonably with home internet these days. Yeah, so I read the instructions for upping the resolution and stuff, and they said go to 6000 bitrate, so that's what I've done. Hey guys. Whoa, did I almost, oh, I felt like I almost, oh, you son of a gun. Teasing me, Pattis. Hey, Martin. So, I've seen the texture. I've seen the texture, but I didn't see the stream of the texture, Thadvic. But now I realize you didn't ask me that question. You just asked if I saw the texture, and I have. You literally did that to troll people? That's a great success. BDC Retro said, many years ago, I had a friend that had a dial-up issue. His internet would only connect at like 1 to 2K, and for years dealt with that. I finally decided to look at it one day, and he had a phone line splitter. Removing it jumped him right up to 56K. I told you the story about how I had it. Like, I called my ISP, and they couldn't figure it out, like back in the EQ days, and then I had to call the phone company, and then they came out. Excuse me, and they told me the reason why I would have intermittent, like massive packet loss was because I had squirrels running on my phone line. Man, you got squirrels back here. JW Wienersmith said, much love to the whole M&M team. You guys are making an awesome game. Thank you very much, JW. You are awesome for saying that. Bees? I've heard of bees in the junction box. I can imagine. Where I lived in Alabama as a teenager, every so often, you'd hear a massive ba-boom, and the power would go out. in the neighborhood, and what it was is it'd be squirrels getting into the transformers up on the phone, up on the lap hole, which is kind of sad for the squirrels. You know, that's a bummer, but when you're a teenager, you're like, wow, that's pretty wild. I mean, that seems, you know, that's interesting infrastructure when it can be taken out by a random squirrel. What's up here? South Carolina had tons of squirrels when I lived there, Justin said. Guess it depends on where you live. I figure most places would. But if you live in one of the smaller places out in the country, they definitely got them. One of my ex-wives is from South Carolina. Or at least her mom and them lived out there. So I'm sorry they're eating your plants. Oh man. There's the grass texture in action. I believe no, because I see the hatches up there. So that I don't think it is on there. Oh man, this seems treacherous. Treacherous. Oh, English. Why do you fail me? Treasurous? Let's go. Give us the treasures. Treasure us. I'm like a southern dragon. How many of you have been watching Pattis put this place together? Show of hands. Five, 6, 7. Nice. This is how I trick you lurkers into... Now I know where you're at. Uh-huh. What's going on, Elron? Dr. Midnight. Oh, this reminds me. Man, that playtest... The playtest we... little team playtest we did the other night was really, really fun. Nick did a fantastic job of organizing that. There was I found like a weird Pattis. I was in well, we were all in Wormsbane. I popped over there and there was this weird edge where I kept getting stuck. It's in that video that I you know how we post our videos into that folder? There's an edge in there where essentially you can get stuck because somehow they're not connected, so the face kind of extends beyond, just a little bit beyond. And it was wherever we were camping for, they were camping for quite a bit, and before they moved to that boss camp, just right there on the corner. It's not a big deal, but it was like, I was proud of myself because everybody seemed to not get stuck on it except me, and then I'm like, everybody's running off and they're leaving me behind, and I'm always that guy that's like, now the group's left, and I'm like, oh guys, I lost you, and then I wind up accidentally training the group and all that stuff. And so I knew I was going to do that. I just knew it, and we were recording it so that we could watch for bugs and stuff like that later. And I was like, man, I'm going to be that dude on camera. But sure enough, I figured out why I was stuck, got myself unstuck, and also did not train the group. So I was very proud of myself. Can we get an Indiana Jones-esque giant boulder trap somewhere, Pattis? Belfaster asked. A boulder in a narrow path that insta-gibs someone if it rolls into them. Pattis said, I wouldn't be opposed, but would need tech support for sure. I'm trying to think of how we could fake that, how we could potentially fake the funk. Now, Ollie could and would probably very likely just do it the right way, give the support. But what we could do, if I'm thinking like hacky designer hat, we would spawn a static with an animation, and rather than use a volume because they don't move. Yeah, I don't think we've got like moving collision volume, so Belfaster. I was thinking the hacky way to do it, like the way I would do it back in the day, would be a static. Yep, I would just make an invisible man. Long story short, field or EQ, you figured it out. Oh, you can add them in the prefab. Oh, see, I'm not always thinking about this fancy new technology we're using. Actually something in EQ, those swinging axe traps in this old dungeon. Yeah. So I knew that we had the switches there, but I was trying to remember, did they always have the invisible, the trap man firing off? Because that was an actual like NPC type, I think, trap man. And what it would do is basically it would have a very close aggro range. And once you enter into that like tiny aggro radius, it would aggro. And its whole job is the trap man would be like, as soon as it aggroes, it just kills itself. And then it's got an on death. And the on death would be like fire off something. Oops. All right, so First and I owe you some more names and some, well, you and Nick, some more named and some stuff to use in here, but it's coming along. Not sure you'd want those more actiony components in game, but I thought it added a lot of flavor EQ despite not being super threatening. Gives Rogue something to do as well. Yeah, well, I mean, we've already had the spike trap in game. I don't know if I don't think it's made it back in, has it? Our poor swim animation. It used to work. Ooh, what? Pattis, should I be here? Alright, I'm gonna commit. Okay. So now that you've been working through, oh, that's how you get out of the area without levitate. Okay. Now that you've been working through the geo in here, have you kind of firmed up an idea on how you want to attack Fallen Pass? Hidden floors dumping you down into pits of hell in a room full of mobs. That was also going. More of a design thing than a trap thing, though. Yeah, we've done a little bit of that already as well, Belfaster. Right chart said, how large is your ambition for the world comparable to, say, P99? You mean P99 at launch? Like, it's just base, or in its final form? Pattis, how are you feeling about, like, objects and textures? Is it daunting? I just mean roughly world size. Like, how many zones are you thinking? How big? So, I mean, one of the challenges with giving a specific count is, if we may, you know, say if we're comparing like 50 zones and 50 zones or something like that, but then the 50 zones that we're talking about are all twice the size of West Corona, then it's not really comparable. But you know what I mean? So how about I give you a wishy-washy sort of intent answer instead, because I don't think we know, to be honest. So the intent is for it to, once we hit our, you know, once we hit our kind of our final form, and our final sort of initial world form versus where we may launch at or whatever may also differ. We'll have to see. But the sort of final feel for, especially this first continent that we're on, we wanted to have all of the nice thematic diversity and varied biomes, plus like our deep zones and things like that, with then like deep takes on some of the biomes. We have a forest. What's a forest under the earth feel like? That kind of thing. We have a swamp, or what's a swamp under the earth feel like? So we want to get all of the nice sort of varied biomes that you get from a game like EQ. I think EQ did a really great job of doing it relative to other games, right? Like, just the difference between like a lava storm and a tox and a Nectalos and, you know, the gorge, even gorge versus high pass, or, you know, so there, if you look at just everything that was covered there in terms of range of biomes, that's one of the reasons why we're keeping our art style relatively simple, is because we want to be able to see how many different biomes we can crank out, right? So we got those different feels, like frozen tundra versus lava area. That's why we're not trying to go like overboard on graphical fidelity and object fidelity and object density in every zone. The desire is for our main world, our main landmass, before we start talking about expanding it out any further, is to get that level of diversity thematically, but with a scale that feels a bit bigger, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean more discrete zones, but what we do with the zones as well. It should feel like when you're traveling, you appreciate your mount, or you appreciate the fact that you're taking the boat around the coast, or the boat up the river, or the boat through the underground river, or that type of thing. Or, holy shit, thank God I got a port from, you know, a druid or a wizard or whatever. And oh my God, thank God they took the time to go out and get that port, that type of thing. So, because when I'm, whoops, what's going on? YouTube, you checking on me? Okay, thanks. Keep in mind, EQ had great textures for the time, still does to this day, especially when upscaled. Yeah, well, I mean, the original style is, it worked well for them. Pat has said, with regards to my earlier question about Fallen Pass, similar but more open and vertical instead of sprawling like Tel Ekir for the sun. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely a different scale. Right chart, does that help? It's one of those questions I would love to have just like a simple, eloquent answer for. But I think even if I gave you like a simple answer, it still wouldn't answer the question. So it's going to be awesome when we get mounts in. Did you see last stream, the Goblin made an image that immediately just became one of my favorite things in the world. It just tugged at my heartstrings, and it is the mount that I've been wanting in a game for a gnome or a little race for so long. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to be with my friend here traveling. Oh my gosh. Oh. My bestest friend. Hope the doggo can't be killed, go. Mounts are at risk. I'm sorry. It's scary stuff out there, Salacious. That's why you gotta be on your tippy toes. They can be rezzed, yes. My dog is going to be named Beans, Droop said. That is a wonderful name. Mr. Beans when he's wearing a tux. Mount tuxes. Oh. New microtransaction idea. I'm just kidding. But maybe you could find a trade skiller to make one for you. Dog tux is confirmed. Oh, yeah. You weren't here last stream. Basically, I'll confirm anything. Yeah, you were here this last stream then. That looks like something you throw in the manual as an illustration and everyone begs for it when it's not in launch because it's such a cool concept. Well, it's one of those things that's it's got to be there. I would even plead with Zukin to delay working on a horse in favor of the Warhound. Everybody just riding around on a stiff horse, a stiff placeholder horse. I'm galloping about on my luxurious, beautiful best friend. Okay, I think... Let me make sure I'm not missing anything, but I think I ran through... I didn't come over here yet. I didn't come over here. The area behind me. So actually I am wrong. Man, we gotta get a roll in when you hit the ground. Jump down from there. Like jump down and be like, boom, combat roll. Or the center area. Wouldn't this be? Oh, this is kind of like the north area. It's not center, huh? Rychar says, does this game and or community developing around it have a consensus take on boxing / RMT yet? Are those touchy subjects? Boxing's a touchy subject. Every time it comes up in Discord, people go a bit wild, so I'm not going to tackle it here. I think it's one that the team will discuss it more and more as we go and refine our answers and hopefully find something that people are generally happy with. RMT, I think, essentially, you know, the statement I've made on it so far, and it doesn't need to be considered the only statement or only thought or what we're actually going to sort of believe. My thought when it comes to sort of personal, occasional RMT that someone does, where it's like, hey, I've got this thing and whatever, or I've got a tune and I sell it. I think, you know, I worked at Sony when we were having to hunt people down and we'd ban accounts for that type of stuff and blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I think that's one of those areas where if it's not intrusive, if it's somebody who's just like, hey, I'm done or whatever, and they sell their account, then it's kind of like, all right, whatever. Let the community kind of sort it out if they want to keep that person in their guild or blah, blah, blah. And I know it leads to some drama, but there's going to be drama in a lot of areas. When someone's basically habitually farming stuff and selling it and, you know, it's impacting other people's ability to get items or get into an area, or they're being, by our subjective standards, disruptive, then you know, we'll probably already have that addressed in the terms of service and stuff, and we'll just nuke that account. If you can buy and just change your name, it becomes a bit of an issue. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of name changes. Well, sorry, let me take that back. Like, I think I'm okay personally with name changes if we then have if we have like a record where you can see, you can look up what the history of the character's name was. And we maintain that. Do I feel that the True Box TLPs were successful in setting an expectation within the community around boxing? I honestly don't know. I found that at least on the I think the only TLP I committed any real time to was Eridune, and I mean I never ran into any issues. But I don't like I didn't sort of keep up with the community sentiment and stuff like that, so. Okay, so I keep going in the wrong place. And that's not it either. I've been there before. Alright, so we've got this level here. I'm just going to fly up and figure out what I'm doing wrong. If you guys, gals, plan to do some of that manual new character name approval stuff you said you used at first, we'd gladly help serve as a guide to help out with that and do a good job. But I also think it's hilarious to see what people are trying to get away with. Maybe we should just have like a live stream of the names coming through. Somewhere where you could just view it. You can see the names coming through. So Belfaster, appreciate that offer. Our discussions on that topic so far, I've cautioned that before we become dependent on any sort of volunteer work for customer service, we should see if we can get to a point where just within our budget, we're accounting for customer service better as just the cost of doing business. Even if it's not the best paying job in the world to be a guide, there's a little kind of contractor style. Like, to me, it feels like it would be better to have something feel a little bit more like a, what do they call those jobs, like Uber and stuff like that? Where you're able to do some work, like gig work, where for guides, not for customer service. Customer service should be, GM should be a full-time position. But if we were to do something that was more kind of like the guide program, it may be, I don't know, it may be more ethical and better to have it set up as like a sort of a gig worker, independent contractor type thing, so that we can give folks some cash. And I mean, I say that as everybody's volunteering their time on this project right now, but I think everybody knows what I mean. So, Pattis, if you're still there, as I'm looking at all the water we have in here and stuff, it'll definitely, as part of the milestone of getting this zone ready, I think it'll definitely benefit us to get NPC swimming pathing figured out. Beaver, how have you been? Thank you for 8 months. Yeah, because I'm picturing we want to have threats. There's that fear of that fear of falling off, and right now the fear is that you fall off and, well, you've got to get back up, I guess. But falling into water, at least you're not going to kersplat. But then if we've got stuff chasing you, then it's going to have to swim. And this is exciting, Pattis. Are we gonna, do we need, I'm trying to remember the concepts offhand right now. Are we gonna prop out one or more new tree types as well for in here? Need to figure out how I'm gonna get the water working too. Might need John to help me there. A lot of water in the zone. Yeah, for this kind of water, we'll see if we continue to use the crest with splines, or we may need to look at how to basically take learnings from what we've been doing with crest to develop our own shader, and probably something with the volume, because we've got our swim volumes, but I thought that when we're using crest, it also handles a lot of stuff within the volume in terms of like rendering out the feel of things, the draw distance and stuff. Hey, is this... So I think I've run into this before in a place or two. No. It was here. Okay. Then what is my problem? Oh, it was in the... Oh man, I gotta sneeze. Whoops. The Fight Club in Night Harbor. There's a door. I'll have to go back and find it and then write up the bug for it. There's a door when you go through and then you look back. It's a door on one side and then a wall on the other. And it's like, I wound up, until I realized what was going on, I was so confused when I was running around in there. It's a fake wall with collision, though. It's like a one-way wall. I'm trying to go up. Stabby said there better be an NPC named Tyrol Dungeon. That one was very hard for me to say. I question myself. I'll go find it in a minute. I was about to say I can confirm that it still has collision, but I might have just got confused. Man. So what percentage complete on the Geopass would you say you are, Pattis? $63? I thought I had it turned off because I needed to turn off collision and get past the door. Depends on how much we want to do in the city and how much we want to push into the other B version of the zone. Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Given that there is the B version of the zone, we should run around, look out, look at everything, kind of see where we think there's it's fair to go. I think that's pretty good. That way we don't, create one of those situations where we're just like, I mean, we can keep going forever. But it'd be nicer to kind of box it and go, all right, this is definitely good for our needs out here. Let's bounce and focus on B. Ladders and stuff here. What's up, Fecal Finger Painting? How are you doing? You say probably 60 to 75%. See? My math checks out. We're in alignment. Are you picturing a ladder here? Oh, finished stairs. There's something about ladders. I like ladders. Tel A and Tel B. Senior Angus, yeah. Genau. That's how you agree with Germans. Genau. Not to be confused with hey now. Cacao, you don't know people finger painting? They've been around for a very long time. One of the OGs. Hey now. Zukin. Thank you for probably getting that stuck in my head now. Come on, Robert Music. Flush it out of my head. Badass. And we don't have the Z-axis issues with AoEs and stuff that plagued overlapping vertical spaces back in the day. Oh shit, that would have been bad. I like it. Needs safety rails? Absolutely not. Needs narrower ledge. So no stunning mobs 60 feet above your head and aggro the entire dungeon. No. Probably not. Don't hold me to that. Nick's like, that was a feature, not a bug. No hiding under the bridge, and in healing your party from the dragon. Oh man, I thought I had it for sure. No, I can't. I've fallen and I can't get out. We'll work on that, don't worry. That'll be fixed by launch. Yeah, so that's the main thing that's kind of stood out to me when running through here, Pattis, is the amount of water that we've got in here. We'll have to figure out some neat things to validate it being there. Will there be a /rewind command to handle stuff like that? Yeah, we should, because we've got a few different commands to assist with that for testing right now. So yeah, we'll have some non-exploitable help yourself out kind of options. Am I missing anywhere else? Yeah, and if you've got if you've got stuff collapsed in, we could also, you know, in some areas, if we feel like we want to use more of this floor space to be navigable, then we could also have some of the stuff that's collapsed in maybe rise up a little bit and have some makeshift bridges, planks, do some planks. But overall, I think I think as long as the mobs can follow you in, Ah, cool. See, we've got synchronicity, Pattis. I'm gonna follow Pattis. He knows where he's going. Oh, I did miss this area. You're correct. You are correct, sir. Boys, I am drinking coffee at 8 and 9 p.m. just for you. Because I have been so worn out today. I don't know what's going on. I didn't even work out today. I'm just beat. Maybe if I worked out, I would have more energy. Just wait till 50 plus. I know. I was thinking about that after jiu-jitsu on Tuesday. I was like, man, I'm exhausted and I'm already sore and blah, blah, blah. But then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I have never not been exhausted and not been sore after jiu-jitsu. I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm that much I don't think my recovery is really that much slower or my energy levels or whatever. I just, every once in a while, there's a day where, like, you know, the last week or two kind of adds up and it's like, all right, I need a nap. Time is the fire in which we burn. Damn, Stabby the robot. When you say it like that, I feel like my last 48 years have been a disco inferno. Justin said, I don't think I've ever recovered from the 10 years of severe sleep apnea. No treatment. You got a machine now, though. That helps. When did you get your machine, though? You got to make up for 10 years. Don't rush it. Where did Harrison go? There he is. Three years. Yeah, see, man, you still got, you can't just jam 10 years of recovery into 3 years, buddy. You got to be patient. I think it's probably also all that coffee, man. You gotta calm down on the coffee. Why are you swimming, Harrison? Why am I swimming? What is wrong with this zone, Harrison? Get it together. There's no monsters in here for me to kill. There's no treasures. Harrison, you need to get it together. You need to get busy. Chris used to work in here, but it broke. This area is scary. Oh. Yeah. Chris is a little we like the aesthetic, right? But it's a little difficult to play with. Oh man, I'm gonna sneeze again. False alarm. Harrison, in terms of like scope of the zone and areas and things to do and stuff, this feels, I mean, it's plenty big. Unless I'm just somehow really off base. I mean, we can get on a huddle and you can talk me through everything and all that stuff, and I'm sure you've gotten other feedback and all that, so it'd be cool to kind of know what folks are thinking, but yep. No, I think this has got, you know, it's got plenty of space, it's got a great feel. The effort spent, or any effort spent sort of making this bigger. There's like the Aingolat POI and stuff like that, but I think a lot of that's just going to be like set dressing and how we do it. We haven't been up there yet, have we? Or at least I haven't been up there. I think a lot of, I mean, the effort spent doing anything more out here would be best served just getting out here wrapped. Get the geo changes and polish and stuff that you feel you got left. Get this bad boy textured. At least the first pass textures. Start looking at propping out and stuff, which I think we can help you on the design side with propping out and stuff in here as well, so you're not spending a lot of your time doing that. Like when you move into B, we can start propping out A. And if you've got like direction, that's one of those areas that you should feel comfortable providing direction. Well, I'll speak for myself. If you're, you know, as you're imagining this and you're setting stuff up, if you want to move into, excuse me, if you want to move into B at some point, but you've got ideas for like, hey, I was thinking this sort of these props for this area or these props for this room, you know, that kind of thing. Like I know it's more work than just doing it yourself to like be kind of micromanage prop placement. But if you're like, hey, I was thinking of these types of props and it might be cool if this was here and blah blah blah, and you just gave like a quick kind of instruction, even if it was a one day you sit in a, you know, we sit in a huddle and you just go, hey, yeah. Oh yeah, we can do that. I just saw the next where you said we could do a huddle, break down what I'm thinking, and see if we're in a safe place. Yeah, that would be great. And then while we're doing that, can discuss some propping and things like that. And then for me, I find prop placement to be so relaxing. It's one of those things where I can listen to a podcast or catch up on one of you guys' streams or whatever, and start placing stuff. And yeah, there's a question, I think it was John that had mentioned in Slack a little while back, of us making better use of prefabs when propping. But I could have sworn we had that same thing with the trees where I'd been like propping out using just the trees, and then once you got the prefab set up, we just did a find and replace in Unity, and it was like magic, fixed it all. So I'm not too worried about propping and then having to replace the props with prefabs or whatever. That's not, I think that was easy enough to update and fix. So again, thank goodness we're using an engine that has that functionality. Scale's feeling nice. Just need to wrap up the ruins area and the mountain waterfall forest area. Yep. Is that in it all? I'm a little, let's see, if I come up and I gain my bearings north south, I should be able to find it. Very roughly, okay. All right, so we're coming in through here, so south. That'd be here then. Oh yeah, because the waterfalls, all the water down there is actually from the waterfall. So yeah. So this area is going to be interesting, but I think with the Ingolat like area, you know, the up top sort of forest area, it's going to be relatively simple. So it's just kind of open, but we'll have a little pool here and a little this. So I don't think it's going to be a big one to hammer out. It's more it's more an aesthetic thing to play with. It'll be I think it's going to wind up being an interesting test for us in terms of textures and props. And I've been saying it. So I am looking forward to us figuring out the textures. And the reason why I said I've been saying it is just because I don't want to. Hopefully, I'm not sounding redundant. The layout work will be getting up there. Yeah, the path. Well, can we cannibalize some of the elevation that we get? Right, instead of having it be an isolated path. Not 100% sure how I feel about what I'm saying, but I mean, because we've already got a lot of the elevation covered here. Right, so once we're up to here, then I mean, if we wanted to do like the walking under the waterfall and having it be sort of vegetative and all that kind of stuff, we could potentially just have a passage, and it could either be a secret passage or, you know, whatever. In terms of thematic, it could be, well, Angolat was there. Angolat was there when the original inhabitants were here. So I would think that they constructed, right? It's not like they're like, oh, let's never go up there, right? They built this really cool city. So I would actually have it be like a nice passageway that comes through here. And then you could walk around, like maybe walk around like on the cliff edge, and you get to see everything here. And then you walk under or through the waterfall, and then up. And then if you needed to wind again, like if you wanted to, you know, if there's a certain side you want to enter Angolat from, then you still have that flexibility. But I think I would just use this elevation instead of trying to bring you all the way from down here. Sorry guys that are viewing this and I'm making you nauseous by zooming around. Oops. And then apparently inverting my perspective. What did I just did something really horrible. Instead of trying to wind your way all the way up, I would, because the other good thing about, I think, using the approach through the city is on the content side, we can really control this as a choke point. You're going to make it, I was going to make it go to the temple area that's in Goblin's concept. Let me see what I'm forgetting here. Did everybody get the update that got sent out? I remember on Tuesday I'd mentioned it. People were like, no, what happened? And I was like, oh shit, it's not getting sent out till 8 p.m. Eastern, which is I'm in bed by then. So monsters and memories. Update. Nope. Update 32. Man. It's crazy. We've been working on this thing for coming up on 3 years in totality from like the very, very day one. Usually I'm so over a job by year 2. Future employers, please ignore that I said that. Past employers, you know it's true. But here it just feels like we're getting warmed up. All right, so let's... Has everybody seen the update? I'm just kidding. There's no future employers. There's no future employers. Retiring. I'm retiring from M&M. Do 20 years of M&M, then I'm just done. Tree City now? Show trees for a tip? We're having discussions. We're working our way up there. Don't you worry. Clipped. So in 21 years, and I prove you wrong. You prove me wrong that what? That I'm not retiring from M&M. Fair. Zukin, I couldn't tell in your response on Discord. Do you secretly want fingers? Did you mention fingers before and I shot it down? Is that what happened? Oh, I can't wait to see these guys. These guys are dope. They have fingers. Why can't humans have fingers? I can see it now. So concept, temple. Yeah, as long as you're up here, Pattis? Okay. So maybe a passage winds around, goes in there, comes through. Okay. Well, I'm sure you'll figure it out and do something awesome. Well, it's funny. I didn't notice there was some extra detailing that Goblin had put on here. It's funny, I like him with the little quiver on the side. Zukin, per the hands topic, if at the end of the day you feel like if you feel passionate enough about it, then it's something. I mean, we can re-trigger the conversation. All sorts of stuff has changed since we first began. I'm just personally, I look at him like, I'm pretty okay with the ham fists, and it's interesting because I get the feedback sometimes. Okay, cool. I see the feedback sometimes on certain things, and then it's just I kind of make that guess of like if we were to do something that feels a bit referential of, you know, even when we put in capes and backpacks and stuff, it was kind of like, does this feel like it's does this feel like we're hitting that original era? Does it feel like we're then kind of mixing our identity into the next era? And then it feels like, or does it feel like we're just doing something that feels unique to kind of us and skirting those lines appropriately? Yeah, I did really, oops. I was shocked at how much the IK test was did everybody in here watch the videos and the update for that? Same with articulating mouths. Yeah, and I mean the place that you guys landed with the faces and the expressions has been really great. Like if we were to do air quotes articulating mouth, I would maybe go back to the old thing that we were joking about at the beginning of the project, of basically having the texture change. So like this guy, if he was smirking or sneering, it would basically just go, it would swap out the 2D texture where you painted this face with the mouth in like a smirk, and it would just like swap it. You know, other games have done that where it's just kind of like, it wouldn't even be a spline mortis. It would just be a swap, because you don't need to see it like move. It just needs to kind of be there. You know, I mean, shit, it could even be, it would be different than customization in how we cut up the faces before, because we know what the end result is. It's kind of like here, I could imagine the eyes could squint. Are you accidentally smart? Mortis, I smarter than me, but I'm imagining what is meant by what you're saying, and I'm like, that seems more complicated than what I was saying. Maybe once everyone has weapons and such in their hands, it'll be less of an issue for some. Doesn't bother me, no. I think it's just gonna be an issue for some people, you know what I mean? Hey, Lisava. Oh, it's a SimCity meme. It's a meme. I probably don't get it. I'm bad at memes. Oh, but I wanted to... Jasmine, you'll have to tell me later what you saw that was so funny that you laughed to the point of actually having to hold your mouth to keep from disturbing the entire stream with your silliness. Kind of surprised about how upset that person was about it. I don't know that they were. That's probably just the way they talk. But I mean, I will say, working on MMOs, as an MMO player, I know you've seen your share of stuff, and working with the emulator community, you've seen some stuff, but working on an MMO, just trust me, there's going to be people that come out of the woodwork that are like, they'll be like, that lemon item icon pissed me off so bad, I'm coming straight down there. I know where you're at. Like, Senior Angus said, oh, absolutely, we're the worst. I'm not saying they're worse. I'm just saying some people get really upset about shit. It's just like, now, in all fairness, we had a couple people show up at Sony when I was there, but they'd been like banned and stuff. Yeah, it was funny. One person came and like pounded on the door. They said they were coming down, and then somebody came up and they pounded on the door. And so we sent, like, basically, there's a gentleman that worked with us named Andy. He was a very, very sweet guy, but he was basically, I'm 6'2", so he had to have been 6'6" or more. And like a well-fed Viking of a man, beard, long, like, blonde ponytail. And so it's Andy, this other guy that's a former Marine, me, and like 2 others go to the door to meet this guy. He's like, man, I was just, I was upset, came down here. I just wanted to let you know that, I understand why you had to do it. He like laughed. Like, wouldn't do that shit nowadays. We're a little too wacky. This was in the good old safe days of 2000. Okay, here's the head tracking. In the IK on this actually feels really, if you guys haven't seen it, that's why I dug it up. It's subtle, but it feels nice. Oh, you be quiet. Just that little bit of a shift, I think. I haven't really powwowed with everybody on the team to kind of see what people think, but yeah, that's why I was just putting it on there. You're not sold on that stuff. You just want them to be stiff. Plus, didn't know we were going to do it, so the models aren't built for it. But they're doing it, I guess, is where I'm confused. But I'm not an artist, so a lot of times I oversimplify. I just kind of look at it and go, oh, the little bit of a head movement is nice, I think. We would need to see an ogre who has no neck to see if it'd work okay. Could we tweak the parameters per race? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just saw it and thought it looked pretty neat as a kind of a layman, but I don't know the implications. And in the past, when you've pushed back on certain things, you tend to be pretty good calls. So, but when it's like super like over exaggerated, bobblehead, necks twisting off, all that kind of stuff, I don't like it either. I didn't like it in EQ2 sometimes when I saw it. But when it just gives that little bit of extra, it tricks the brain into thinking, at least it tricks my brain into thinking that there's so much more going on than there really is. It was the same thing with the, it was the same thing when you set up the mantle. And that there was that little, just tiny bit, that subtle bit of movement on the edge of that layer. In my mind, that just, it brought the entire thing to life. And it was just that tiny little bit. You know, it's something like this. Does this entire thing need to articulate? You know, or have physics? No, but if there was a little bit of wiggle at the bottom when I got done moving, then I would the way that, you know, the way that I understand brains to chunk data, the hint of a thing can then basically backfill more detail than was actually there. So it's like, boom, end effect. And then it's like, oh, well, shit. Logically, there must have been more going on there. But if you know, ultimately you guys come back and you're like, nah, it causes this problem, that problem, not worth it, extra work, blah blah blah, then you know, I'm not gonna like necessarily pitch a fit. All right, so I think now that we've run through here, good. Let me zone. Go check this out. But then again, the example that I just used isn't in game anymore, right? So it may not be a valid example because I haven't seen the mantle lately. Foot stuff could work, just not super stoked about the head tracking. It's a bit weird in EQ2, like you mentioned. To me, it felt like it was just, maybe it wasn't the best iteration on it. I think it should be, you know, if we were to explore it, it should be really constrained, so it's pretty subtle. Like having characters. Oh, you're headless. Oh no. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, look at you. Having characters like constantly turning and looking and snapping to the next target and stuff like that was just too much in EQ2. I think if we find that it doesn't just like doesn't, you know, just completely, if it's not an immediate impossibility because of implementation or whatever, then I do think it'd be worth a little bit more exploration before we just say nah. Yeah. But like, Senior Agus said, I agree that foot legs adapting to terrain helps characters fit more. Head turning feels uncanny. Yeah, I think having it also taken out of the control of the player. Like, having it force the head to look as opposed to be camera based or something feels a little... Because now the character's out of your control. But like I said, for me it's more of a, hey, this kind of look cool, so if we play with it and it looks good, then great. If we find that it just doesn't work well for us, then I will not cry about it. Is Ogre still using human animations? Well, Dr. Midnight said, I always found my character bouncing around depending on who is closest to me. Yeah, it was weird in EQ2 because it was just like looking at random shit. And then there's also the kind of thing where it's like if it's facing target and then I run by here and then go here, does it like go... does my head crank? How far is the head crank? It felt like in EQ2 it just kept cranking really hard, and then I'd be over here and then whip around and crank to the other side. Zukin, I could not imagine if we were all in this like same time zone. It's crazy that we're able to do this across like 9 hours of separation time zone wise. I think you and I are. Because it'd be awesome to just be able to sit in to various the various streams that you guys are doing in real time. Some of the ones, I mean, sometimes it's just I miss it on my schedule. Like I would have been able to hop in, but because I think it saves us so much meeting time. So yeah, mostly still on the old rig. Threw in the updated model with the cape to get it set up, but need Erkin staff to put it on the new rig for final touches. Oh, rad. Yeah, because he definitely still feels off, and there's like animation popping and stuff going on there. Dude, that image you posted was amazing, though. Where was that? Was that an art discussion? The big boy image. Oh. I can't show the halfling female sculpt on stream. That's a little too risque, but man, that was a fun conversation. Where is it? No, where did you put it? Is it... How big is the team now? UI chat, you think? Oh yeah, you're right. What's up, Not? How have you been? We're riding around like 15, 16 people. Stabby, it was a conversation. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Can I show it here? Oh, late. It's too late. It's too late. Too late. I did it. Dude, he's so beefy here. The animations have to just convey that weight, like boom, boom. I mean, look how heavy that guy looks. Thick boy indeed. Quicksand said, I like the jagged sleeves. Yeah, can we change everything and get cloth physics on each one of those shags, please, Zukin? If we can get that done this weekend. Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. Not said, I'm doing pretty well. Life is good, but work is a bit, you know. So I've started looking around a little for something new, but I can't complain. How long have you been there now? A year and a half? 2 years? Not? Poor Zukin. I'm almost afraid to joke. 2 years in a week. Man, feels about right. Man, you hit that year and a half point at a job. And that's really when it kind of kicks in. It's like, is this really my forever home? Oh man, I can see something in the distance there. Let me go back and see something actually. Sorry for making all these horrible noises. Oh, I can see it. Nice. All these horrible noises on stream. I don't know what's happened to me this evening. Get that nice and illuminated. Have I been? Germany. Yep. Still in Bremen, Germany. Dude just left me there fighting Tuashir by myself. You're a big boy. I think you can handle it. You got 3 of them on you now. Catch up on what Simon's been working on over here. Snake with animation. It has been a while since I was here, I guess. It has been quite a while. You haven't been keeping up on things, which is fair. You've got stuff going on. Did you know about the stress test that we had, Not? Man, you gotta read our updates. For those of you that don't know, I am not Twitch. Is an OG around here. Was here in the days of way back. I think even before there was Project N/M&M. There you go, Stabby. Yeah, so we had a couple of thousand people come in that weekend. It was pretty tight. We definitely got some nice stress in our test. Folks seem to have a pretty good time. You remember me blocking out the first dunes of the desert zone by the coast. Yep. Yeah, that's when it was. It was around that time. It was like Blender time where I was like, what button do I push to make a desert? Y'all, can you help me with the desert button? And then chat basically taught me how to use Blender. Did we achieve our goal for the stress test? Last I saw, you were able to achieve 840 plus players in an instance. You don't mind me asking, was the server running Azure, AWS, or custom? Because I'm going to give you the wrong data. Let me find here. Ali actually wrote up a pretty technical for folks that are like actually. Did you just get? Oh, you feigned death, didn't you? Did you feign death and try to train me? That's not a very cool move, sir. Turn off aggro. Go find him again. Invuln. I didn't let the ogre die. The ogre tried to train me. Here, one second. Taldarion. Let me get you the right link. So we actually... Bing said 1010 ogre. So we actually did a double update this last month of all of the content and stuff that's gone in over the last 2 months. Because the update prior to that was, so update 31 was just stress test info. And it gives a full breakdown of like numbers we were seeing before the test started. Stats on the actual test itself, and then the technical analysis Ali broke down. So we had 3 different server configurations, I think hosted in 2 different data centers, and there's a lot of like, you know, words in here. So here, let me give this to you. So then you can see essentially what we did, what we felt happened, all of that stuff. So that way I'm not giving you the wrong info. Awesome. Yeah, and then if you have any more questions after that, be sure to hop into our Discord if you're not already. You can ask there. Ollie's pretty good about keeping an eye out. Or if it's something one of the other folks can answer, then they will as well. I guess that's what I get. That's what I get for mentioning IK. Zukin trains me with a pro gamer move. One of these days, Zukin, we're gonna meet in real life. And then I'm gonna feign death and train you. Taldarian said, I'm part of Discord. I check out the stream from time to time as well when I'm not busy. Love the progress you guys are making. You seem familiar, but I wasn't sure if it was from here or the name was reminiscent of something. But yeah, I appreciate that. We've been this week we've been discussing some future zones and stuff, and yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see the world come together, and you start to see some other places while these places continue to get fleshed out. Some new stuff. It's exciting. it's a situation where it's very easy to want to have the capability to be able to do more faster, but on the flip side, it's so nice to see the stuff that's being done, and it's so consistent, right? There's when you look at the updates that we put out, feels like there's just always so much fun new stuff, that, you know, it's consistently coming together. So it's really just kind of an exercise in patience for, you know, for you guys, but also the team as well, and hopefully everybody continues to be amped on the consistent forward progress, and then we'll just kind of see what the universe throws at us as we go in terms of capabilities and going faster in certain areas, or man, it's a struggle for me right now because we're in the season where it's like prime garden season, and so it's funny, I was just clarifying for Nick this week because he didn't realize that, like, the garden's not in my backyard, it's like 2 kilometers away. So when I go there to work on stuff or water or whatever, I hop on the bike and I put my dog in his little basket on the back of the bike and then go up there, and but it's really cool, it's really nice, it's really relaxing. We have fantastic neighbors, but when the weather's good, man, the thing I've learned living in both Germany and Sweden, and then Germany again, is when the weather's good, appreciate it. Get out there, soak up that vitamin D, barbecue, drink a few beers, and enjoy it while it is here. Because we spend a lot of the year not with the best weather. So oh wait, that's not Zukin. I almost did something terrible and it's not even the right ogre. Mission aborted. Well, trying to death touch me from the skies now, are we? Attacking random ogres. I was just gonna go right over beside you on the edge and just summon you right off the edge. But that's not you. I think that might be Simon. An ogre named Homie seems like it would be Simon. But I could be wrong. Man, he looks like he's out here doing work though. He's out here building his own. He's got his backpack on, got a little shovel. Got some parchment, probably the map that he drew. Oh man, look how nice and up here this is. I really like the feel of this. This is sweet. I can see some sand ships sailing in the distance. Nothing better than sitting on the deck of a warm summer night with a garden, except to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. Stabby. Sounds about like summer in Germany. Oh man, I like this turn right here. I don't know. I enjoy the strangest things. Sorry guys. There's just some of these moments where I'm like, I really like this pass and this little turn in here. We got to do, in some of our mountain areas and stuff, we need to have some nice treacherous fellowship climbing along the edge. moments like this. All right, this feels nice. How many zones have you started work on? Oh man. Okay, so we've got a low-level dungeon, not that's in good shape. Wormsbane Tomb. It's right in the newbie yard. We've got the massiveness that is Night Harbor. Still coming along, but we're basically taking a little pause to work on a couple new zones now, just because we're going to be fleshing out that city for a while. And then as we figure things out, like we're working on a new dungeon called Tel Ekir and a Shira dungeon. And as we're getting that online and getting it figured out, the content implications for the city will help us flesh out certain other things in the city. The city itself's got a couple, 2-3 little nice little mini dungeon kind of elaborate areas under it. So Night Harbor, Shaded Dunes, Wormsbane Tomb. We've just got these like blockouts that did back in the day for a number of zones, which now we've moved into this. Simon's been working on basically starting to build this zone out. This used to be called Night Harbor Fields, but it's Sungreet Strand now. And so it's cool. There's this path up to this fortress that's being manned by ogre mercenaries. But they're guarding the water reservoir that's coming off this glacial lake here to the south, north, to the west. And then you'll be able to get into Tel Ekir from this zone as well. Oh, cool. Can see the city. All right. We may not need to pull that cliff, that mountainside in after all, but we'll see. Sort of like Coastal Road in California. Yeah, I've driven. I went up to some fancy ass wedding at one point and had to drive in those like crazy twisty turny roads, man. Nerve wracking. Yeah, I haven't been. This is all new from the last time we were up here. Tildarion said, I have another question about MMOs and any online games in general. Whenever you download an online game, you do an initial download. Then when you enter the game, you do another download. Do you know what would be normally in the initial download? If I understand the question correctly, normally what you're doing is you've got an installer that is then installing essentially a patcher and a launcher. So like for us, let me see. Let me try again. Okay, so the initial download would basically be installing this launcher, if I understand the question correctly. And then this launcher gives us the ability to, in our case, we can install different versions of it. We've got the update button, right? And so then, and what that facilitates is just keeping it patched and up to date. Not said, work tomorrow, so I got to split. We'll try to catch some more streams this summer. Right on, man. It's always nice to see you. Enjoy work as much as you can. Good luck figuring things out on that front. Tildarian, does that make sense? All right. Man, you really do feel up here when you're up here. You know what I mean? Like the elevation. Oh, this is a good point. This elevation is kind of cool because then... Oh yeah, we discussed this. That's right. So then you'll be able to look over into glass flats as well from here. So you'll be able to see Night Harbor, glass flats, and then when we figure out kind of what we're going to be doing with the facading over in that area that you're not going to be able to get to for quite a while. Cool, man. I'm excited. It's coming together. And this is a great verticality test so far. So let me say... Let me ask. It's hidden behind me here, but let me ask if that was actually was Simon. John said, added static state support to the static placement tool. You can now clone existing static, which clones its states as well. Those of you that play stuff, please give this a test when you get a chance. Let me know if you notice any problems. Nice. Nice. Awesome, John. That's pretty cool. That's... Oh, I wonder, I could probably... You know what, I could probably do a real quick test of that now. I just need to pop out of here and grab latest, I believe. I'm assuming it's good to go. It's already on the server. I'm sure it's been touched on, but how big do you expect the world to be at release? It's asked before. We've never given a definitive answer. Because, you know, one of the things we want to look at is what's a good timing for us to release, you know, what state. And so I'll give you an answer that doesn't really help you. But we're hoping that the world is large enough to keep you engaged in enjoying yourself for long enough for us to continue to make the world larger at release. Right? Like what's the right time for us to what's the right time for us to kind of go live? Because it's an MMO. We're never gonna not be working on this thing, right? You know, look at EQ. 25 years later, it's still going. So the world's meant to grow and change and all that cool shit over time. So then the question becomes, all right, so when do we get started? When can you get in there and start enjoying yourself and playing some stuff and all that? And is that different depending on different people? Are there a lot of people that'd be willing to come in and be like, hey, you know what? The bulk of your content's going to be in this continent. Are there people that could enjoy there being a chunk of that? And then as the game's live, more and more of that becomes available. And then we finally hit the point where, all right, and this is the sort of the core of the world. And if we had a just make game instantly button, yeah, we probably would have went live with this first and foremost. But we're a small indie team working on a very big game. So we took a progressive path, right? Like there may be enough people that would go along on that ride, and so we'll be playing that by ear as we continue to flesh stuff out. But like everything that we're doing, you know, like just this little trip up here, you guys watching it, it may not be that big a deal to you, right? You may look at it and go, all right, so we're standing around, we're looking at this thing that's blocked out, got crazy texture tiling or whatever. But to me, this is a learning moment, because I look at it, I'm like, oh man, the elevation. This elevation feels good. Again, it's a reiteration of we want to hit a certain We want to hit a certain scale, like zone size, verticality, sense of place, right? Like it's very important that we've got these zones where you can see all the way across the zone into another zone, right? Or, you know, in theory, we could have it so if this elevation point was actually in glass flats, you could probably be looking over the entire Sungreet strand into a second zone, right? So, because it helps just build that world sense. Have you decided against investors then, or is that still on the table? Investors will always just be one of those things where it would really, really have to be the right people, right relationship, right terms, right degree of autonomy. If somebody were to come up and be like, "Hey, you guys are on fire. Trust you. You're not going to have to sit around making PowerPoint presentations once every week or month or whatever to justify the money that we gave you. Just here's a big bag of cash. Go for it. Here's reasonable terms with regards to payback and blah, blah, blah." Then, oh, cool, man. Nice to meet you. Why not? But it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys saw the answer I gave to the merch question. Somebody was asking about merch earlier, which is always nice. It's cool for when people... sorry, let me just bring this up. All right, so people asking about merch. I think this answer's kind of related in a way. Because people were talking about being excited about merch. And so my response was, yep, and we're excited to be able to get the merch out there at some point. Once it's out, we'll be mixing it up regularly and adding new options. But there are a couple of challenges with the idea. Typo. With the idea at the moment. Oh, it's not a typo. I just can't read. Fair enough. One, the game isn't available in any form at the moment beyond the stress test and future tests. So it feels like it might be a break from our goal of only taking money once the game is at a point where we're comfortable accepting cash. Number two, similar to one, it's possible that some folks drop a bunch of cash on merch, naturally because it's all badass, and then develop a sense that they've pledged to the game. This could change the tone of the conversation within the community. Three, with 1 and 2 in mind, the reality is that after we pay the print-on-demand fees, the government takes its taxes, we're not left with a very big profit margin. And while we love each and every one of you, except for that one guy, our community isn't massive, so the potential shift in tone, in quotes, y'all made a grip off all that merch you sold, in quotes, may happen while we're not really moving the project forward financially as a result. 4, and finally, we're very likely to use print on demand, at least initially, so the end products will be cool to have, but not necessarily the quality level we'd eventually like to provide. So, I mean, it's similar calculations when we're when we're considering like investment, right? If somebody were to come to us and we feel all of a sudden we've got to change the way that we work in a way that's just not really conducive to who we are, or we're not going to make anybody any promises that all of a sudden there's no point in bullshitting an investor. Just like we haven't felt a need to bullshit you guys. So, yeah, so it's a tough one. And the reality is, in a lot of these cases, now there are people out there that probably have the ability to be, to provide enough investment that it would be helpful, but maybe not like enough that it's like, okay, this is all the money we would need to be able to do, you know, defined endpoint X. Then we'd wind up in a situation where now we're working under the pressure that we owe somebody some cash, but it's not enough cash to basically be able to guarantee all the people on the team that want to come on full time, like security and saying, hey, you can quit your job because we have X number of years of runway ahead of us. Right? Like, because if somebody were to come up with enough cash that we could go to all the people that would like to be working on this full time and go, hey, here's enough security, which in my opinion, I don't know, this may not be true for those individuals, try to get a feel for it. But if it's not several years of potential income, I just can't imagine I you know how secure different individuals may feel in going, oh, okay, well, you know, I'd really like to be working on the game. I either, you know, my job's okay currently, or I don't like it, or whatever it is. And yeah, I'm gonna just drop it and the benefits that come with it, security that comes with it, to, you know, only have a 6 month, 1 year, 2 year runway. That may be fine for some folks. It's like, hey, you know, as long as I know I'm getting paid for 2 years, then if it looks like in a year and a half or in a year that shit's still not getting to the point it needs to be, then I can find another job or whatever. I could see a 2 year runway. But then if we're looking at 2 year runway, then that amount of cash, that's usually coming with some specific terms and, you know, and expectations in terms of how that's getting recouped, and probably expectations with regards to you know, what the stake is in the company and all of that. So, or the at least pretty significant rev share. So it really becomes like, again, another one of those balancing acts. The reason why I brought up the merch thing is because the reality is, if we've got 3,500 people on the mailing list, you know, we've got whatever it is, 3,500 people in Discord or something. What percentage of people are actually going to buy merch? And then you look at that and go, okay, and then what percentage of the merch is actually going to be profit that we could use to reinvest into the game? All right. And so when it winds up being this number where it's kind of like a Kickstarter, right? Like if you do a Kickstarter, it's like, cool, now we've got people that have set expectations, they've pledged money, you know, we've taken this money, blah, 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 and we come out of it with a few $100,000 or something. It's like, all right, there's we've just kind of, we've burnt that goodwill, we've tapped into that opportunity, and we don't have everything we need to be able to get to where we're going. So
Exclamation mark.
Indesty2, thank you for 13 months. I think, to be honest with you, I think for a number of us, the thing that would probably feel the coolest would be for us to keep grinding and hit a point where we feel we've got enough content to be able to go live, and a very solid content and feature rollout plan that that shows like, all right, and here's what we're going to do next, and here's how long we think it's going to take, and then after that we're doing this, right? Like, so a pretty clear roadmap of where we're going, and a track record of delivering on our promises, right? Because in a scenario like that, let's just assume that we can find the right point to be able to basically trigger that and then maintain it. In a scenario like that, what we would have been able to do is grind, use our own sweat to get the game live and going, have a good plan, drive that forward, and basically own the game ourselves. And not had made any promises to anybody that we couldn't keep or feel like changes the nature of what we're doing or whatever. It's just, you know, the big question mark as we continue to work through the proof of concept this year is, do we think that's the route? What is that? Where is that start point? Yeah. But when we think of, you know, it could be that we run into somebody that's just a very like-minded, altruistic individual or individuals, and they're able to bump that start point. You know, like, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be the entire game's complete. They're able to help us hit a point where we're able to hit the go live point. So that's why you buy lottery tickets, just in case. Appreciate it. I am not a financial advisor, nor am I a medical expert. But, you know, if you are playing the lottery and you win, and you're cool, I'll go, what's up? Oh, sorry the new time got you. Sorry the new time got you. That's a good reminder, though. I do, tomorrow morning when I wake up, I need to get this week's VODs ripped with Twitch Leecher and get everything up onto the YouTube channel. Yeah, so I'm excited about this zone as this stuff is coming together. I like that. I like that ramp up to the reservoir, and you're gonna meet some interesting characters in here. Can't wait to get the farmlands fleshed out. Can't wait to get the quarry over there going. That's gonna be cool. We'll have some different themes going on here with the farmlands that are kind of on this tier along the old road. And they've fallen into disrepair, and then we've got the farmlands down on the waterfront. That'll be pretty bougie. Some fun little story hooks and stuff there. Some interesting camps. So wondering if I had any insight as to why EverQuest zones X and Y axes were swapped for load. I don't know, but it's funny because that was kind of one of my first exposures, so I just thought that's the way the world worked. I wanted to try this thing. Let me see. John, are you still in here? I have a question about your new tool. Is it available? Do I just need a pull? Okay, let me do that really fast then. So we can try it out. Cool. Pull. Any plans for small and intimate zones like we sometimes saw on EQ? Yeah, it's something we talk about a bit, just different zone scales. And making sure that we get the kind of cozy, sometimes claustrophobic feel, or like if I were to think of something like Rivervale is a nice small zone. Right? Doesn't need to be massive every time. And even little pocket zones. Couple rooms. Though a lot of times that's just going to be in the zone itself. But sometimes you want a zone line. Sometimes you want a distinct zone. Yeah, I think part of the funneling players together can also be achieved through a number of other little subtle mechanics. One of which being just POI distribution and the amount of negative space. And then there'll be gameplay benefits to certain POIs. And again, we're trying to really keep people invested in having to go back to towns or certain areas. Okay, I've pulled. I guess I missed it. Update. So let me see. Database. Enter. Cool. Move that here. Let's log in really fast. All right. Development. Go back in. Hey, dwarf. Cool. All right. So we'll throw this on so we can run up there really fast. And then we'll do a quick test of the tool. Because we had placed, I just used it earlier, like the torch holder in here. I think it was on Tuesday. So we'll just duplicate one of those statics while we're in here. And then we'll place another one. And that should be an appropriate test of the tool. Because it's got state data and stuff like that on it as well. So John said, I actually haven't tested the statics tool during play mode. The visuals probably overlap. I just run up here so I can see it. I don't know that it matters or that I can interact with it. Hey John, what's going on, buddy? And then I'll switch over. There I am. Cool. All right. So, window, static placement tool. It's here. Cool. We'll go to Harbor Fields. Great. Refresh. Clone existing. So we'll come over here. So if I select this guy, which is wonderful, I clicked on it and selected it. Perfect. So, but I don't get any data as to which one this is. Do I? It's not showing me like which static I have selected, but I know which one it is. But so static, if I go into the DB and look, I'll switch to the inspector. Oh shit, you're right. Good point. Oops. Ups. Sometimes I don't like talking. All right, so wait. So the So if I select it, if I click off, I select here, it takes me to the base on the prefab. Now I can go to here, and this just tells me this one, torch one. One annoying thing I have to look into how to get it to select the root with the static script. But even if it selects roots, well, I mean, that gives me the positional data. But it doesn't necessarily tell me... Oh, there's the ID. Yep. 411. Cool. All right, so there's the ID. Oh, nice. Okay, so here are the states. Cool. Minimize these for now. So if I take this guy here and I just say clone selected static. Cool, I've got it here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to... Next time I clone, I'm going to go to where I want to be before I clone. I know there's like a keystroke in Unity that would actually allow me to just move this thing to where I was looking, but I keep forgetting it. Actually. All right, so now this is selected. It's 413. It makes sense. Let me refresh data in the DB. Cool. Alt Control F. Yep. I knew it was something something F or something F. But if you do the wrong thing, oh, this one's already got one. Thought I was being fancy. No, where's my tune? I'm over here. All right. Alt Control F. Oh shit. Close enough. And it's still ID 13 that I've got in my hand. Cool. 90 degrees in this tower do not go well together, so let's just adjust it like so. Right on. That should be good. Yeah, I'm mousing over save right now. I was just thinking about one thing though. Save. I'll refresh the DB. So now 413's in here. I'll need to manually update the comment. String table. Yep. Oh, sorry. State table. Go down to 413. Cool. Torch holder. That's actually not correct. That should be... What are we saying? Guard tower torch. Update those. Cool. All right. So we've got that and that. Now my dude's in here. Move this off to the side. Now, John, am I looking at... So when I'm in here now... I'll just move it over here. Didn't seem to be docking. So am I looking at a representation of the static, or am I looking at the actual static now in real time? Because my assumption is that I would need to reload the data for this zone. Representation. Okay, cool. Makes sense. So hide statics. So clears the representation. Reload zone. Zone's just been reloaded. Now it's there. SI torch. First, let me click. It's locked. You're not holding the key. That's expected. Boom. That is fantastic. Man, that is fantastic. And I say that as somebody that's basically... Oh, interesting question. What about... Thanks for implementing it, dude. That's fantastic. What about this scenario, this use case? So if I look at statics right now, I've got, I don't know, a couple hundred doors. Close to 200 doors, I would say, that I've added to Night Harbor. A very finite number of them actually have states already. There's no easy way to duplicate the states, right? I mean, because that's not, it doesn't seem like that's the use case that we're looking at here. I think this one may actually just be solved by SQL. This is a Nick, I need your help type fix, I think. Because in order to dupe the states, yeah, it might be fastest with SQL. But you can duplicate the state data, but it'll be slower. Yeah. I like to use the phrase, I need a smart person. Yeah, John. Yeah, so what I'll wind up doing is finding a nice, we'll figure out a little script. You can click on one of the static representations and copy one of those states. But in effect, it's kind of doing the same thing, right? Because you can't dupe those states without creating a new dupe of both the static and the states, right? Or did I miss that on the tool? Let me look again. Rupsh. Can't dupe the states and can't fake the funk. For some reason, I thought John was actually responding. So dupe them and then manually paste them to another. Yeah. So basically, what I typically do is like I would come in here, and yeah, I would basically just go into static state and find. That's kind of how I made a lot. You know, all these is. I usually just come in here and go duplicate with keys and then just update the data and do that for each one of those, you know, for both states for each door. So that's like 400 duplications, which, yeah, it's not, I mean, it's honest work, but I've got the feeling that, that Nick could probably just write up a nice script that manually, it just No, not manually. It automatically just makes those dupes. And then in the future, what I'll just be doing is when I'm placing doors, those new doors will just be dupes. So they'll come with the static data in place. So that's gonna be nice. Because the old workflow, for those of you that have been maybe not watching or whatever it was, instead of using this nifty tool, I would actually come in and I'd be in editor, I'd go into scene view and I'd have just a prefab that I'd pull into the scene, like here, NH door. I'd basically grab like this Night Harbor door prefab, and then I would adjust it here, or here, like, boop, boop. Get it all lined up the way I think it should be. Then I would manually copy this data out into the database, this positional data. So this is much better. Have I messed with, where does it pull these? That's a question I think I forgot to ask before. I'm gonna have to write up documentation on the placement tool. We don't have documentation yet, do we, John? So I may have questions for you. Where is it pulling these? Like, it pulls it from all the unique values in the DB. Oh, so it's basically, it queries all the statics that have been made so far, and then it knows that we've made at least one static with this model. So then to get a new one in the list, we would just create a static in the DB and assign it a model, and then refresh this and it would propagate to the list. Okay, makes sense. Taldarian said, was there a reason for building out the game world in Blender instead of Unity? Yeah, initially we thought it would just be our like initial workflow when it was just the four of us. We had it set up so essentially I was working in Blender, or Ollie was working in Blender, but we had the file that we're working in basically in a Unity directory. And so then anytime we hit save, it would essentially update in Unity, and we'd see our changes in real time. And we just thought, okay, well, Blender's free and it's powerful, so why not just use it? And the thing that we eventually found was it was causing some issues, and we were starting to get some, like, we were just running into problems with it importing properly and some other shit, and maybe performance, I don't know, but it was becoming problematic. And then Ollie was like, why don't you check out Pro Builder? And the thing that we liked about Pro Builder was, for at least when I was using it, it was pretty similar to the functionality that I was using in Blender, because I wasn't doing super fancy shit, and it kept us in kind of an old school look because of the kind of the limitations that we're the limitations of Pro Builder, along with sort of the approach that we're taking. So we switched to just using Pro Builder. But that said, it's good for getting a certain kind of aesthetic, but it sounds like it's kind of a pain in the ass for Pattis and Simon. So then they export the Pro Builder FBXs, I believe, and then get into like Maya, clean those up, and then re-import the FBX, so it's the cleaned up version within here. So that's the workflow now. And for the most part, like, I haven't been doing a ton of, actual map work and moving verts around and shit, since we've got Pattis and Simon hammering away on stuff. Basically, in the past, I was just doing block out work anyway. which, I mean, may happen again, but we'll see if that actually makes life easier for them or just creates a bunch more kind of stuff that they feel like, you know, they've got to clean up or whatever. It probably adds some value, right? Because it's the same as like us getting in and noodling around and, you know, maybe it's a little bit easier to kind of gray box for them to provide some kind of space or POIs or whatever. But like with Tel Ekir, Pattis is just in there fucking, freaking hammering away, right? So, and that was just based off some maps, and then a little bit of gray boxing Goblin did, I think, and then but a lot of it was just discussion in 2D maps, kind of the way I'm used to it. So we'll see. I think we can probably provide a little bit of value in assisting Pattis these days is in going in and making small tweaks to what he's got in there and doing prop work and stuff as we're doing population work. So that's my long answer, Taldarian. Absolute Target said, you know, in response to the original question, you're able to move, resize, and adjust faces and vectors of the models, and Unity can pretty much only scale and move without ProBuilder or something like it. Yeah. So if we're not using Blender, we're using ProBuilder, and if we're not using ProBuilder, or as we're using ProBuilder, we're also using stuff like Maya to clean up. But yeah, I think that covers the test. I'll make a note in Slack. We just tested the tool on stream by duplicating one of the torch holders in Night Harbor Fields. HID, which bad boy was it? 413? Yeah, 413. 413. And everything appears to work fine. We'll get this. Oops. Not 3 L's and we'll get this documented ASAP. Reminder to self, document this ASAP. That was me guessing ignore. Absolute target? What do you mean? Oh, that was you guessing? Oh, I get it now. That was you guessing. Ignore it. No, I mean, it's not a bad guess. Yeah, if you know, if we were basically when we bring in an FBX, right? Like if we're looking at you know, we come in here, if we were to grab this thing once it's in here, you're correct, right? Like we got this tower. Then we could come over here and manipulate it. Maybe not, depending on how it's set up. In theory, we could take these assets. Unity's like, screw you, man. We can take these assets and manipulate them, make them bigger or smaller and stuff like that. But yeah, we would need to then go into ProBuilder mode in order to like, you know, manipulate the verts and stuff like that, which looks like tools, ProBuilder window. Yep. And so now you see how the stuff that we can manipulate in ProBuilder, like I select this, maybe if I select that, all right, here's a good example. So what Absolute was saying is, if we're not using ProBuilder, then we don't really see this. It's just a static object, or it's an object, not static. It's an object that we can manipulate certain values, position, rotation, scale. But with ProBuilder, then we get these additional options. So now you can see these verts and we can grab that and then, you know, like yoink it out here and break some stuff or whatever. Or we can grab some edges. We can grab these faces. And in theory, do some stuff, but I haven't been screwing with that type of stuff now that we've got the guys doing art. It's really not been necessary, and as you can see, it's not necessarily as straightforward as I'm describing it. So, and then what we were doing back when it was Blender is I would just tab over. We'd have this window and I'd have Blender up in the background. I'd just tab over and like maybe screw around with this object or the map or, you know, this terrain or whatever. Hit save, bounce back over here, and it would update. You'd see it reload the asset, and so it's a little back and forth, whereas, yeah, it's just different now. Cool. All right, guys, it is 10:59 my time, coming up on 2 hours and 51 minutes of streaming. I think by the time we say goodbye to each other and all that good stuff, we'll probably be at a solid 3 hours and 11 p.m. my time here in wonderful sunny Germany. So let's wrap this up. Let's have you guys have a wonderful weekend. I've got 2 different sets of company coming in from out of town to hang out with the missus and me this weekend. So we're going to barbecue. And now it's not sunny at 11 p.m. But in Sweden in summer, it definitely stays sunny till 11 p.m. So everybody have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being here tonight. I'll try to get these VODs up ASAP as well. Fun questions. Good work, John. Good work, Pattis. Good work, Zukin, even if you did try to kill me. 3PO, have a wonderful time. Goodbye, John. See ya. Fielder, good night. Dr. Midnight, you have a great weekend as well. Isan, let's see, have fun garden. Thank you very much. Your kid graduates this weekend, officially retire Monday. Man, badass. Congrats to you. Congrats to your kid as well. Enjoy the audiobooks. I'm enjoying the Civil War ones a ton right now. Beavis, good to see you. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks again, John. Lisava, you're welcome. Jezebeli, bye. Oh, that's so nice of you. We'll see each other Tuesday. Stabby, take care. Binks, you as well. Zukin, go watch Band of Brothers. Exactly. You've got your work cut out for you this weekend. It's such a good series. Making me want to watch it again. Cool, man. Well, yeah, Pattis, it is so good. Yeah, I'm still here for now, YouTube. See you, buddy. We'll catch up as soon as possible. Cool, man. Is that it for the goodbyes? If it is, then I will wrap up here and I'll push the button. Again, have a wonderful weekend. Hopefully everything worked fine for everybody and it looks wonderful in 1080p or whatever the hell it is now. And the music was turned up more, so this should be good. We'll see you all on Tuesday. Have a great one.